13th Village Board meeting to order. Would you please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Yes. Trustee Shaughnessy.
Here.
Snagowski. Stapleton.
Here.
Kittredge.
Here.
Maher.
Here.
McClafferty.
Here.
Okay, thanks, Jan. All right, next up, we have the consent agenda, which consists of the following. We have approval of minutes from the January 9th Village Board meeting as well as the January 23rd Committee of Whole. We have approval of disbursements, January 10th through January 23rd. We have January 24th as well as through February 13th disbursements. We have an ordinance O-02-23 amending Lamont Municipal Code, Chapter 5.04, Section 5.04.060.b for alcoholic beverages, decreasing the number of Class A3 liquor licenses for the Chicago Restaurant Concepts Inc., which was known as Gelsosimo's Pizza. We have an ordinance O-03-23 authorizing the sale, donation, and/or disposal of surplus village property. We have a resolution R-0623 providing the destruction of certain verbatim recordings of closed session meetings. We have a resolution R-07-23 reviewing the need for the confidentiality of closed session meetings. We have a resolution R-08-23 approving an IDOT lease agreement for non-highway use right-of-way. We have a resolution R-09-23 appointing Stacy Petranakis as delegate to the Intergovernmental Risk Management Agency. And we have a resolution R-10-23 to appoint Stacy Petranakis as Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund IMRF authorized agent. Need a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Shaughnessy, seconded by trustee McClafferty to approve the items for the consent agenda. Do we have any questions or comments, please? Okay, roll call, please.
Yes. Shaughnessy.
Yes.
Snagowski. Sorry, absent. Stapleton.
Yes.
Kittredge.
Yes.
Maher.
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. Next up, we have the mayor's mention. It's the day after big Super Bowl Sunday, and tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And if you do not have plans yet, please check out lamontdowntown.com news page for some ideas for celebrating. Get your reservations early. Also, if you have not heard, I've been appointed to fill the 82nd District State Representative seat recently vacated by retired leader Jim Durkin. I'd like to thank Jim for his multiple decades of serving the 82nd District and as the minority representative leader. I am also honored to represent the district, and I want to emphasize my primary first role, as always, is Mayor of Lamont. We've accomplished a number of initiatives since I was first elected as your mayor in 2017, and we have several projects and many more initiatives in various stages that we're committed to, and I definitely want to keep that momentum going, and I want to thank everyone on the board and all the staff as well, and more importantly, all of our residents. So now, serving as a state representative, I have much I want to work towards accomplishing, such as lowering property taxes, addressing crime, and keeping jobs and economic development in Illinois. Personally look forward to working with others at these same objectives. I've heard concerns as residents of Lamont, and I look forward to addressing your concerns as a state representative. So again, want to thank everyone, look forward to working with everyone as well. Also, on Saturday, February 25th, the Lamont Junior Women's Club is hosting a wellness outing at Old Quarry Middle School from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The event includes breakfast sessions on various topics. Admission is free and includes free childcare and complimentary lunch. You can find a link to more information on our website, Community Calendar. Also, the Lamont Public Library is holding a blood drive on Wednesday, March 1st from noon to 6 p.m. Please visit the link on our community calendar to sign up. And also, we have the 31st St. Patrick's Day Parade, which will take place on Saturday, March 4th at 1 p.m. That's always a great outing. We've been pretty lucky with the weather, so looking forward to seeing everyone out there and enjoying everyone afterwards at the local establishments. Groups wanting to walk or ride in the parade can call Donna at 630-243-2700 to enter. And again, for more information, please visit our website's community calendar. So that is it for the mayor's mention. Up next, we have the clerk's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ordinance O-04-23, annexing to the Village of Lamont approximately 2.49 acres located at 15368 129th Street in Lamont, Illinois, Martinez property.
Okay, need a motion to approve, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee McClafferty. Jason?
Yes, item A, B, and E in the clerk's report all involve the Martinez property on 129th Street. This is an annexation for a proposed two-lot subdivision, each with a single detached single-family home. These homes will connect to village utilities and meet all the requirements of the Unified Development Ordinance. Following an ordinance to annex and amend the zoning to R5A, there's a resolution later on the agenda for a plat, and if approved, it will be recorded against the property with Cook County.
Thanks, Jason. Any questions or comments by the trustees?
I just have one. They're dedicating it just the right of way. They're not dedicating the actual 33 feet, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Should we ask them if they could?
Yeah, we can follow up with that, Ken, yeah. I think it's being consistent with what we did with, is it the Notting Hill subdivision across the street?
Yeah.
I think we're keeping like sort of the original street line. You know, maintaining 129th as much as it is was a very important issue for the residents that were there, you know, in unincorporated Lamont Township.
Gotcha.
Be good just to have it dedicated though, even though
Well, it just saves a lot of
we don't,
we have other streets that we have issues with because they own to the middle of the street.
yeah, I think the township residents didn't want it.
Yeah.
A road, but maybe we can have it dedicated. Something we can look into further.
Yeah, it's
before
something
we
you can follow
record.
up on.
It's a good idea.
Any other comments? All right, roll call, please.
Shaughnessy,
Yes.
Snagowski.
Is he on? No?
He's up
He
here,
is
Oh,
there.
Hey, Rick, he hears?
giving us a thumb.
He's,
Give it a thumbs
all
up.
right, he's good.
All right.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Kittredge,
Yes,
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
All right, motion approved.
An ordinance O-05-23, amending the zoning map of the Village of Lamont from R-1 Single Family Detached Residential District to R-5A Single Family Detached and Attached Residential District for 2.49 acres located at 15368 129th Street in Lamont, Illinois.
Need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
All right, motion by trustee McClafferty, seconded by trustee Shaughnessy. Anything else on this, Jason, or are we good?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
Snagowski. Stapleton.
Yes.
Kittredge.
yes,
Maher.
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
All right, motion approved. Next, I'm sorry, go ahead, Janet.
An ordinance O-06-23, amending the zoning map of the Village of Lamont from R4 Single Family Detached Residential District to R-5A Single Family Detached and Attached Residential District for 5.208 acres located at 3 West Roberta Street in Lamont, Illinois. Mary Ellen Woods.
Okay, need a motion, please.
move. Second?
Okay, motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee McClafferty. Jason?
Yeah, item C and D here both concern the Mary Ellen Woods subdivision at 3 West Roberta Street. That's the northwest corner of Roberta and Walter Streets. The first ordinance is for rezoning from R4 to R5A. This will allow 9 lots for detached individual single-family residences. The second item, a resolution for the 9-lot Mary Ellen Woods subdivision, if approved, will be recorded against the property with Cook County.
Thanks, Jason. Any questions or comments? Trustees? Roll call, please.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
Snagowski. Stapleton.
Yes.
Kittredge.
Yes.
Maher.
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
Resolution R-11-23, approving a final plot of subdivision for 9 detached, single-family residential lots at 3 West Roberta Street in Lamont Hill, Mary Ellen Woods subdivision.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee McClafferty, seconded by trustee Kittredge. Jason, this is the third one. Anything else to add on this?
Nothing, no.
Okay, questions, comments? And everything was squared away, right? All of the issues we had?
Yep, all the
just
neighbor
wanted-
concerns were addressed.
Which was good. That was a fun committee of the whole that evening, so
I missed it.
glad we got that. No, but it was good. We got, they worked together, and that's the way it should
Yes.
always be. So again, appreciate that. All right, roll call then, please.
Shaughnessy. Snagowski. Stapleton.
Yes.
Kittredge. Maher.
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Motion approved.
A resolution R-12-23, approving a final plat of subdivision for 15368 129th Street in Lamont, Martinez subdivision.
And Mayor, I'd like to address trustee McClafferty's comment from earlier. We won't require a separate plat of dedication. The plat of subdivision, I confirm, I'm looking at it now, dedicates 33 feet of right-of-way to the Village of Lamont for public road and utility purposes.
Okay, great. All right, glad we got that clarified. Can we get a motion for this one, please?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by trustee McClafferty, seconded by trustee Stapleton. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
Snagowski. Stapleton.
Yes.
Kittredge.
Yes.
Maher.
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
Resolution R-13-23, authorizing the purchase of an Elgin REGNX street sweeper with certain specifications, equipment, and trade-in through Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by trustee Shaughnessy, seconded by trustee Kittredge. Is Ralph?
Ralph's on.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. So this is a resolution for the purchase of a new street sweeper for the village streets. We had this in the 2024 budget, but it was recommended that we purchase it within the 2023 budget. We'll be trading in a 29-year-old Elgin Pelican sweeper, which we're getting $7,500 for. And the new purchase will be a Elgin Regen X street sweeper for $325,690 from Standard Equipment, which we're very familiar with and we've dealt with for years. So staff recommendation is to purchase the street sweeper for $325,690.
Thanks, Ralph. Any questions or comments?
Yes. Hey, Ralph, will we have naming rights available on that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can name it.
A sponsor?
Get a sponsor and help us knock that down.
Ralph, we're gonna need 50 years out of this bad boy.
One question.
Go ahead.
We said we moved it up. What was the logic behind moving it from 24 to 23 budget?
I don't know, Ralph.
Well, there's two. I think the lead time is one. And we're also looking at just the ability to lock in prices as things are going up. But lead time, what was the lead time on ordering the piece of equipment, Ralph?
It's being built now. It was already being built when we discussed it with the salespeople. And they're talking probably 12 to 15 weeks.
Yeah,
All right.
and just being able to lock in prices before.
The old one's gotta be
Escalating.
pretty, it's in its last legs, isn't it?
So we're getting it in 2024, but
Correct,
paying for it this year.
correct.
Almost fading in.
We have two.
Yeah.
And we're still gonna have two. We have a backup now.
Yeah.
So the newer one
Pelican is the backup.
will
that
be
we're
the new
getting, right?
backup, and the Pelican will be
Right.
rotated out.
And so is there, what was the
So
cost?
in September through November, we have 2 sweepers out, usually for leaf season, and then in the spring, when everything is so dirty, we have 2 sweepers out. So we always like to have that backup here at the shop. So we'll be keeping the Crosswind that we have now and trading in the Pelican.
Got it. Thanks, Ralph.
So do we have to make an adjustment to our budget for this, for 23, to include this?
It's coming, it will, next month, in March.
So it'll be in that budget?
Coming.
And do we have that money available? Are we getting rid of something else instead? I mean, it's 325,000 we're paying this year, right?
Right,
So, where's the,
see, there's an increase in revenue.
Revenues.
okay.
Revenues are higher than expenses this year to finish out the year.
Significant. All right. Any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Yes. Shaughnessy?
Yes.
Snagowski? Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
Resolution R-14-23, authorizing the replacement of the Eon Exchange softening system tanks at well number 3.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by trustee Kittredge, seconded by trustee McClafferty. Ralph, you taking this one too?
Yes, I am, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. So back in March of 2022, about 11 months ago, one of the tanks at State Street popped a leak in the bottom of the tank. And now we have 3 out of the 4 tanks with multiple leaks, and we're just plugging holes up there. And the equipment needs to be replaced. It's a softening system. And we got some pricing from Gas Voda and Curita America to replace these tanks. And the idea here is to not rebuild the whole pump house. So we wanted to use the original installers and make sure the tanks are coated better. Let's say that. So we got some pricing not to exceed $545,000. $272,000 will go to Gas Voda for the installation, and $272,300 will go to Curita for the equipment. So what we want to do is make a down payment, because there's a 30-week lead time on this equipment and material. So we wanted to make a $40,845 down payment to get the ball rolling with Curita. So that staff's recommendation is to do that out of this year, right, Deshawn, I believe?
Yes,
Yeah, the $40,845 out of this year's budget, with the balance coming in the 2024 budget.
Thanks, Ralph. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
How come these things aren't coming up at the cow? It sounds like we don't have a second bid on this. We have one bid, and this wasn't brought up at the cow. So I'm just wondering if there's a reason why on these last 2, we bypassed the cow to talk about them.
Talk about it
Do we
now.
go through the, I mean, they are in the annual budgets, right?
Ralph, you want to
We
go
have
through,
multi-year-
this one is an emergency situation, but you want to go through, Ralph, on your
Yeah, so
tanks
it
going.
came up in March of last year, which we were done with that budget process by then. So we had it on the radar to budget for it in 2024. They got worse. We were repairing them. We're still repairing them. And the recommendation was to make the down payment to get the ball rolling out of this year's budget and still budget for the balance next year. If that
Are
helps.
there any other manufacturers of tanks?
I'm sorry.
Are there any other manufacturers for these tanks that we're replacing?
Very few. And like I told you, we wanted to stick with the original so we didn't have to re-engineer the whole pump house to repipe everything. So we're using the same equipment, but again, lined better from what they used to do. And that's why they're rotting. So that's why we went with Gasvoda and the equipment company.
So what's the change?
I'm
You're
sorry.
saying the lining is better, so I'm assuming they're putting some type of epoxy or coating inside, what's the difference?
Yes.
Does it go
Yeah.
to 0.5 millimeters or?
How old are the other tanks?
16, 17 years old. The
Any
State Street well house runs the most. It has the most water being softened through it, and it has the most resin in the tanks. So that's why we're thinking that is the reason that these tanks are failing, along with the lining process that they used to use.
It's got the coating thickness on the specs that they're gonna line it with.
I'm just wondering what was the difference on the lining from the last time to this time, all right? So, I mean, we're saying they're doing something different. I'm just wondering what is the difference that they're doing?
Yeah, I don't know the exact difference right now, Dave, but I could look into it for you. But they are assuring us that they are lined better with a more corrosive resistant material.
Do they tell you like a time frame of how long they expect these ones to last?
The new ones,
Yeah.
it's over 25 years.
And what was the expectation on the old ones?
That I don't know. I think every town experienced difference. It all depends on how much they soften, I would imagine, how much water and how much resin they're using and salt.
Do they give a warranty on the tanks?
Yes, there's gonna be I believe a 48-month warranty.
Anything else?
I think time is of the essence. If it's something to do with softening water, otherwise if we don't do it, our residents are gonna have hard water, and then we're gonna have hot water heaters that are gonna be running into problems.
It just seems like we have 2 weeks. This could have been brought up to the COW, and we could have talked about it a little bit differently and more in detail, but, and especially in a situation where we didn't get an alternative bid for a $500,000 bid.
But the reason we're not doing that is we're trying to retrofit an existing system.
I understand. It doesn't mean somebody else couldn't come in and retrofit in that case. But
No,
we didn't go out and ask, right? Did we go out and see if somebody can come in and fit the pumping station the way it currently is configured?
It's just gonna be more money.
So we didn't then.
It's Public Works recommendation. So it's up to you though, as a group.
So, I mean, Ralph, just to cut to the chase, it sounds like this isn't the first time you spoke with this entity, and I would imagine you had probably several hours, if not weeks, to deal with this project. Can you just walk us through, just so that the takeaway is in here, I got a phone call. They said, this is all you got, so I'm gonna take it. I mean, you wanna just go through?
Yeah, we met with them up there to go over the whole project and what needed to be done. They are familiar with the pump house already. Again, we don't want to remanufacture and re-engineer the whole pump house. There's not a whole lot of people that actually do this type of work. So going with Gasvoda and Kurita is going to actually save us money instead of just finding someone that's going to be out of state to travel here and do this type of work. We met with them multiple times up there, and they also did the Houston Street Pump House. They do work up at Well 5. So we are familiar with them. and again, I don't know how else to say it. It's just gonna save us money in the long run. And I do understand Dave's point, bringing it to the cow, but we were budgeting for it in 2024, which it would have been brought to a cow. But, time is kind of the essence here. I mean, this is something that we just cannot do. It needs to be done for our water system. I mean, it does stink. I mean, our water system, sometimes it surprises us and we don't know exactly, what's going to happen tomorrow, but that's the business of being in the water system business. So I don't know if that helps you.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, it helps, Ralph, and it sounds like, obviously, you and your staff know the players in this industry, correct? And you know who the vendors are, correct? So when you make a comment like, hey, there's just not a lot of people that do this, I mean, you probably have a very short list that you would probably reach out to, if not already know. So, I mean, I think it's just, in our shoes, it's a big spend, right? So we rely on you guys to do, the capital expenditure to look at the vendors. And I think what probably Dave's getting at is he just wants to get comfortable. Hey, did we go through a requisition process that was thorough and in-depth? And I think that's what, when Dave says go to the cow, I mean, you're going to be probably bringing up stuff that is way over my head, but I think what we're trying to get at is the requisition process. Do you want to just kind of expand on it? Like, hey, there's only so many that we have, and
That's exactly it. Yeah. That's exactly it. And someone that we're familiar with, that we've worked with before, and they originally did the pump house. And that's why we recommend going with them. It's not like you just pick up a phone and call, a normal plumber. It's not that way. So, I mean, if we wanted to table it, I mean, we can, but this is a 30-week, lead time.
what would we, I mean, by waiting that extra time, is there anything more thorough we could do as far as, getting better pricing? Or have we gone through that process already?
RFQ, you can, and we can do that, and we can go through that whole process, and I understand it. But I believe, in my mind, it's gonna be more money.
And that is to go with what we have today.
Just because they have other equipment that's not gonna fit right, and they're gonna have to do more, pipe fitting, and, just a lot more, and that's my opinion.
All right, we good?
Yeah, but to Dave's point, I guess we're assuming that a week ago, he was probably working on this before that. Because he's saying he's been plugging leaks for a while. So maybe we should just get a slight heads up on the stuff that he's working on that might be coming to us.
I don't, yeah.
And it wasn't gonna come to you until 2024 budget time, that,
Next year. We can wait till next year.
right.
No, I definitely don't wanna wait.
That's not my
Definitely don't wanna
point,
wait.
George.
No,
My
no.
point is, we have a cow next week. We usually do discussions on these things in cow so we can get more details from staff, and we can ask more detailed questions, right? This one, we said, we're not going to, just like we did on the sweeper, because the sweeper didn't come to a cow either. And nor did we get much lead time that we're buying a sweeper in this budget period. So that's where I'm frustrated, is that we have two big ticket items on here. We didn't have any acknowledgement other than Friday to look at what was going on and be able to talk to our staff, right, our team that's doing this. And in general, our policy is to have multiple bids. So I get on the sweeper situation, on this one, we're just saying, and I'm not saying I don't believe Ralph when he says it's gonna be more expensive, but this is another $500,000 expenditure that we're just going in saying, the guy that's currently doing the work is the one we're gonna do, instead of even looking a little bit, or actually giving us a little bit of lead time to actually have a conversation with people other than a day.
But this is why it's before you at the board level. You can make a motion to table it, and the rest of the board can second the motion and table it.
My point is, it's a policy. I thought our policy was that we bring these things to the cow instead of bringing them here first. I thought that was the policy that we were trying to abide by. So, we can move on.
Yeah, but the, yeah.
I have- yeah.
The sweeper was, it's been in multiple year budgets. I mean, this is not this softening here is more of an emergency type of thing, so, I mean, I wouldn't compare the two.
I would, because $500,000 is an emergency, okay? The emergency is repairing the tank.
You're spending 40 grand though, looks like in this budget.
But the emergency is repairing the tank so it's usable. I'm not saying that's what we should do. What I'm saying is that's the emergency to address. Make the tank so it's usable. This is a replacement of the tank, which is going a step beyond, which is saying, okay, I'm doing a long-term capital investment, and we're not looking at our options on the capital investment, right? What does it cost to do a repair on the tank?
There's several tanks, and you're dealing with a company who's very familiar with the tanks, who will be keeping some tanks utilized while the other ones are being repaired. That's why I'm assuming that's why we're going with these people, and we have experience with them. I have a problem with us trying to micromanage staff every time they do something, that it's like we're second guessing their expertise on it.
This isn't a micromanaging, this is an approval of a $500,000 expense going off of the procedures that we have. And the procedure is to go out to bid, bring it into Cal, introduce it to the staff. A micromanaging is me asking Ralph every step that he went through and being in every single meeting and being on the list, the short list, and then telling him how he should be going in and talking to the vendors. I'm not doing that. What I'm asking for is what is our stated position on how to deal with this. And that is, get multiple bids if we have the ability to get multiple bids, which we probably have the ability, even though we don't necessarily like the multiple bids, bring it into the cow and have a discussion at the cow. It's not to bring it into the board meeting and have this discussion right here in the board meeting.
You can't get multiple bids on a company that has, you're trying to retrofit something that, with the company that was there before, that done the work there before. So,
Rick, could you say that again? I think Rick was trying to say something.
That wasn't me.
I thought I heard someone on there talking.
yeah, it's not like something that we can go out and get 6 bids on, or 3 or 4 bids even. We're trying to retrofit a system to save money, and we're spending a lot of money. It is a lot of money, 500,000. But to Ralph's point is, we're spending 500,000, but we could be spending $1 million if going with some other company that want to start from scratch.
And nor did I say to go to the other company, though. That's not what I'm saying at all. That wasn't my comment. My comment is we should, that with starters is, we could table this discussion. It's fine.
Make a motion to table.
No,
Or what do you want to do?
I'm done talking. We don't have to talk about it anymore. So,
Okay.
there was a motion on the floor. That's fine, right?
Yep.
So let's just move forward.
Second.
Okay.
I think the motion was already made, right, and seconded?
Yeah, motion was already made, yeah. Do we have any other? Okay.
Was it second? Do you get a second? If not, I'll
No, I
second.
did it at the beginning.
Yeah, we got a
Yeah,
second.
yeah,
We're already
yeah.
past that.
Yeah,
I think
we're
we're
past it. It's been open for discussion. Okay, let's vote. All right.
Shaughnessy.
Yes.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
Critters.
Yes.
Maher.
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
All right, motion approved. All right, next up, we have the village attorney report. Mike, we see you out there.
I don't have actually to report right now. Thank you.
Thank you. George, administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have one item under closed session, but I wanted to make mention that I was talking to Attorney Stillman the other day. We're going to have to get the group together over the next couple months and talk about our virtual attendance policy. If you've been following the news, I'm sure Mayor Gofsky's going to get more involved in it the next couple months down in Springfield, but Governor Pritzker has announced that the emergency declaration for the COVID-19 pandemic is ending in May. There's a lot that goes along with that, obviously, but one item that comes with that is that the overarching, foundation for the being able to have virtual meetings that goes with the pandemic is coming to an end from the state level, and the rules that were put into place of being able to meet virtually Doesn't mean we can't still utilize technology to meet virtually in certain circumstances, but it does mean we have to come up with our own policies that, that don't conflict with other state statutes, correct, Mike? We do have rules that were in place
Yes.
that we approved prior to the pandemic, years ago, probably going back to the mid-2000 teens, and we'll have to look at those policies and make sure they're still up to code. So we'll be bringing that up to the board at a committee level in probably March or April in advance of May. Anything on that, Mike, that you're hearing, or maybe I'll get a memo from you to bring to the board?
I don't think we're gonna have any change, but you're right. Their remote attendance has been, we've addressed that, but that was the pre-COVID environment, but also the pre-Zoom or whatever medium we use. So we just have to make sure we tighten it up. There'll be certain requirements, and then we'll be able to bring that to you. And I would suggest you approve them just so we are able to kind of move forward. Quorums will always have to be, we'll have to have a quorum of a meeting always in person, but those are the type of things that we're going to address.
Anything else,
Nope,
George?
that's it.
Okay, any board reports?
Well, here, you know what, I'll want to take this opportunity to congratulate you, John, for state rep, but more importantly, thanks for staying on. I think it's, I know you're taking an extra workload, but really appreciate you staying on as mayor too. I think
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. So, thank you. All right. Next up, any staff reports? Nothing, okay.
Nothing wrong.
Any unfinished or new business?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got one. Can you hear me okay?
Yep,
Yep,
go
you're
ahead,
good.
Rick.
Go ahead, Rick.
Actually, I've got two, pending some of the things that we've discussed tonight. One question I have, and this would lead to a new item, question I have, in as much as we approved new annexation tonight of two parcels that were of size of 1.25 acres, I'm just wondering, are we ever going to use R4 approvals ever again? Bringing them in under the zoning. So that's a consideration I'd like to discuss at some point in time, and maybe at the next COW meeting, we could talk with Jason and just find out where we're going with that, because it seems that every parcel we bring in has henceforth been an R5A. I don't know that that was the intent when we approved that zoning, but we automatically default to it each and every time. And it just seemed to me that some of the unincorporated areas seem more appropriate to be brought in as R4. So that's one thing I'd like to at least have a thorough understanding of where we're headed with that, why we think we need it. The point originally was to avoid variations, but we're approving them as such, even when there's no indication of any need for variation. So that's my question. And also my comment, and looking forward to a new business item in the future on that. And the second one would be to make a proposal tonight to avoid the long discussion we had here on the policies that we believe we have, or that we do have somewhere down on paper, or that we seem to work by. But that would be, why don't we make a proposal here, or I'd be willing to bring as an agenda item at the next meeting, a motion that would say, we want all agenda items in and posted by the Wednesday prior to the Monday meeting. That way, we would get them by close of business on Wednesday, and it would give some time for us to review these. Many times, we're getting packets on Monday afternoon, Friday evening, and I understand that there are a lot of things to be uploaded. So if that's the problem, then we appropriately move it forward to allow time for that to happen. If it takes us so long that we have to upload these things that the agendas get pushed to the last minute, you can only imagine what it's like on our end trying to review all those things that have been uploaded. It's not fair to get these things on Monday afternoon and ask for a thorough understanding of them by Monday evening. That's not a right way to do business. So I'm going to make a motion that in the future, we set an agenda setting timeframe to avoid such things as the discussion to possibly table an item to the next meeting anyway. Let's not do that. Let's get them done sooner. And if they don't make it, then we automatically push it to the next meeting to allow more time for a thorough understanding. We did do that in the past. Somewhere along the line, we minimized that time. I know we want to try to move things along quickly, but we need to have time to review packages that come in with 400 pages of items. It's just not fair. So those are my two items that I think we should discuss, or at least I'll make a motion on the next one, on the second one. And that first one, we need to have an understanding of where are we on policy, or where do we want to go on policy as it relates to these zoning changes we made with an R5A. That's it.
Rick, so as of right now, is, Janet, when we post on Fridays, correct?
Friday evening, yeah.
Friday evening. So, and the packets are posted as well, correct?
Yes.
And Rick, what you're saying is, hey, give another business day or two to be able to review it, maybe try and post on Wednesday or Thursday.
Right, well, sometimes, John, those packages are not completed yet. They're with documents yet to be forthcoming. So if there's language to still be worked on, it's not in there. And sometimes we get those last pieces. I mean, George will send them out, but they come out on Monday afternoon or something. I mean, if it's just a signature here or there, that's understandable, and that's not the issue I'm talking about. But when we're waiting on a negotiated item, that is something, you know, you got to go back and you got to compare it to the other documents. Well, you know, everybody knows everybody else has other jobs and things. You may not be home on the weekend. So Monday, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 o'clock is not enough time to catch up with the paperwork that you're going to review that night at 6:30 p.m.
Got it. Okay. George, you want to?
Yeah, no, it's something we can, let's
look at.
discuss internally, and we can talk about, you know, those processes, and we could also post an agenda without any items earlier in the week, and then fill in from there.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Rick. And I know we're also, there's going to be a planning and zoning meeting March 1st, Jason, where we're adding a zoning district, and maybe some of those conversations can be discussed. You know, when new property comes in, you know, you know, for annexations, what district do properties get put into? I know I see Jeanette over there. That's her favorite topic, I think. Besides density, Jeanette, right up your wheelhouse,
is-
look right there. You
is
teed her up, Rick. But no, I think these items are coming up at committee of the holes, I think, right, Jason? So go ahead if you want to say a few words on that coming up.
No, you know, we're happy to look into R5A. Rick, Trustee Snagowski, as you mentioned, it was created in reaction to the direction from the last board to have fewer variations for side yards and the like. The fact that you continue to see it, and that you have a property coming in today, 2 acres. The reason they're 2 acres is they're very long lots. Truth be told, if the applicant had their way, it would be a 3-lot subdivision with a flag lot, but we don't allow flag lots. So they're kind of hand tied a little bit that way, but we're happy to look at it. Honestly, we see it as a success that we could have a subdivision without any variations. Same with Mary Ellen Woods, that came in with no variations to the subdivision standard. So by that measure, it's successful, but, you know, it's a board call. If you don't want R5A density, take it out of the code.
My real issue is if we're never going to approve another 4A, then let's get rid of it so that it doesn't confuse the matter. That's where I'm at.
We keep R4 since we have many existing R4 lots. It would, we wouldn't want to make them legal non-conforming. The bulk of the town is R4.
Yeah. Right. And the bulk of the new approvals are not. And that's my point.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
All right. Anything else on new or old business? Audience participation, George.
Yeah, now's the time where if you want to come up to the podium and state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak, and we'll handle your issue accordingly, but come on up. Anybody who wants to speak, come on up. Or if you just want to listen.
First of all, I would like to congratulate the mayor, having attained the highly executive position, additional position as the state rep for this area. And what I would like to know is, what is the job description for that role?
Good question. So the job description, so there's 118 representative districts in the state. And so we're in the 82nd, which is pretty much as far west, and then we go as far east as Homer, and then as far north as close to Hinsdale. But it's mainly, the Darien area as well as Willowbrook. So that's the 82nd district. And in each district has one representative. And like I said, there's 118 in the state. So what we do as legislators is it's very similar at the national level where we have a Congress. This is our version of, state representatives. If there is such a thing as a state Congress, that would be it. So we pass the laws in Illinois, along with, obviously, we need the approval of the other chamber, the senator, as well as the executive branch, the governor. So we're just one of three arms. And just to give you a point of reference, we expect potentially maybe 7,000 different bills to be voted on this chamber. Typically, only a fraction of those maybe gets, eventually signed into law. That in a nutshell, is what a legislator does.
So does the governor have a right to veto?
Yes, very similar to the president. The governor has a right to veto. And if there is such a veto, it could be overridden by the legislative bodies. Yeah, when you look at the number of potential bills that are in place, right now it's small, but it's going to exponentially increase in the next week or two. So the fun and excitement's going to begin next week. But thank you for those kind words, though.
Thank you for explaining your new role.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone,
Jeanette DeBarris, 13490 Derby Road in Lamont. I've been here now for just about 35 years in Lamont. When we purchased our property and came in, we're in unincorporated Cook County, and we still are right now. But here is what the problem is. All around us, we have these very large subdivisions with houses packed one against the other. The problem is that when we came in, we were unincorporated Cook County, and if you wanted to build a house, you had to have at least a half an acre in order to install a septic tank and a well. And that's what some of our subdivisions still have to do. Unfortunately, it's much better for the village, because if you can put 2 houses on that piece of property, you're going to get 2 tax bills when you bring it in to the village. And that is what is driving this. It's the money. Unfortunately, when I moved in, there was 131 acres across from me that had trees. A small cornfield was there, and the rest was trees. And they came in, and after they did the subdivision, they came in and they chopped every one of those trees down on the 131 acres. They did it in one day. They came in with this big machine that wrapped around the tree, cut it at the bottom. We're talking about oak trees, 100, 200, 300-year-old oak trees. What do you think that does for our area? What do you think it helps, anyway? But this is the past. But here we go. We have now 4 subdivisions, I think, that are going on right now. We have them, almost every one of them have 79 houses or buildings on it. Almost all of them are duplexes or triplexes, and they keep smashing them in there. But if you can do a duplex or a triplex, you're getting 2 or 3 tax bills from that same piece of property. Now, in order to do that, you have to have water, a well from the village, and a drainage. That costs money. Here's what happens. First of all, I would talked about the 2 and 3, and that's what we have had. I have not seen a single family come in on a decent lot. There's going to be 409 houses on the property that was a golf course. And even there, they're going to have some of them that are duplexes and triplexes, et cetera, et cetera. I see you shaking your head. George, is that not true?
There's no triplexes, but go ahead.
Okay, but duplexes are going to be on there.
And are you talking Glen Eagles?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking.
How many acres is Glen Eagles?
197.
That's right.
And how many units?
409.
So one.
109.
Two per,
Like
roughly two.
two per acre.
But, there isn't much left, okay, around here where we can put a single-family home on a lot and enjoy.
No, hey,
different
you're
type.
right. I mean, today, the 2-unit one, how much land was that? That wasn't very big, right?
That we approved today.
2.5 acres?
Yeah, nearly
What
3.
what are you talking, what?
No, what we just approved tonight. No, you're right. There's not a lot of land left. That is correct.
Yeah, and I didn't pay close attention to
Yeah.
the amount
No,
of
but I
property,
mean,
but I
that's-
knew that you were going to be putting a couple on there. The ones that are up above Timberline that also had trees all the way down there, that thing is going in again with 79. We are having a 5-story building go up that are going to have 70, last I heard was going to have 79 apartments in it. And, what you had to do with that. And I saw that what you had to do was find property in order to supply them with a parking area for that too. And then you did some trading off and you did get finally the amount of parking that they
And then we're
needed.
bumping up on 3 minutes.
Oh.
Thank you, though.
I'm just saying that, it's really kind of, you're not gonna be able to do it because there's been so much development in the area, in the unincorporated areas. And even when we went in and we had these small subdivisions of houses on nice lots, what happened, Mayor? We went in and we took them out of that agreement and put them in the village of Lamont, and they annexed those 3 subdivisions to come into the village, even though they were there with sewer and water, with well and septic tank, and you had to bring them into the village. I really hate to see what's going to happen when we have the very small parts that we have that are still able to have subdivisions in them. What's going to happen? It's almost too late. And everybody makes money on it, so, except the taxpayers. Because when you put in that septic, when you put in that sewer system.
Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you.
Yeah, well, who pays for the
Thank you.
sewer system and the well? All the
Jeanette,
taxpayers.
Jeanette, thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Nothing, Jerry?
Yeah. Go ahead, Rick.
We got you. We can hear you,
Go ahead,
Rick.
All right, I'll be less than 2 minutes. I heard Jeanette, and she's welcome to her opinion, and she's welcome to live where she wants to. But I'll tell you what, when I built my home within the village limits, I could have purchased a lot in unincorporated Cook right in my backyard. Still exists to be unincorporated. However, I saw a benefit to having better police protection, quicker responses from the police because I was in the village limit. I saw benefit to having village sewer and water that is processed and, in my opinion, I'll use it as my opinion, more healthy than using wells and septics in my yard. And I also know that the Public Works does a good job to keep my roads plowed, paved, and clean. So there's a reason why I chose to be in the village of Lamont. So everybody doesn't carry that same opinion that Jeanette does. I, for one, don't. And I take offense to her telling me that there's something wrong with me because I choose to pay my taxes to the village of Lamont. So everybody doesn't have the same opinion. However, everybody is welcome to have their own opinion. I have mine and you have yours, and I like it that way.
All right, thanks, Rick. All right. Okay, moving on. We do have executive session tonight, correct?
Keep it brief.
All right, so keep me in line here. I need a motion to go into executive session to discuss under Chapter 5 ILCS of the Open Meetings Act. We're going to be discussing 5 ILCS 120/2C11 pending litigation, as well as 5 ILCS 120/2C5 real estate purchase or lease. Hope I got that all right, Mike. All right, I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee Kittredge. Roll call, please, Janet.
Yes. Shaughnessy?
Yes.
Snagowski? Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Yes.
I was yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. We are now closing the first end of public session. There will not be any decisions, correct?
There will not be.
So no need to, no decisions will be made when we officially close it later on. Again, want to welcome everyone to a great Valentine's Day tomorrow, and check out our St. Patrick's Day Parade as well coming up. So everyone have a great week and enjoy.